Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a world where fear doesn't come from haunted houses or dark forests or shadowy figures lurking behind doors. No. This time, the fear comes from something most of us use every single day, something sitting right in your hand right now, something you unlock without thinking, the phone. More specifically, phone numbers, strange ones, cursed ones, numbers whispered through urban legends, shared in creepy stories, and circulated online with warnings telling you not to dial them under any circumstances. It sounds like something straight out of a horror movie, the mysterious number you're not supposed to call, the one that triggers something dark or dangerous once like an X. But what makes these stories so unsettling is that many of them come from real people, real places, real eras of history. Some of the numbers date back to old payphone systems, others come from digital age rumors, some are tied to alleged crimes, and a few have been investigated by authorities because too many people reported the same disturbing experience. So tonight, I'm not here to tell you what's true or fake. I'm simply the messenger. I'm here to share some of the creepiest stories about phone numbers that, according to urban legend, should never be dialed. Let's begin with the infamous Japanese number many people compare to a real-life version of the ring. You might have heard about a mysterious sequence made entirely of the number 4. In Japanese, the number 4 is pronounced shi, which sounds identical to the word for death. So even before we get into the story, the number already has this built-in curse stitched into its identity. But what truly solidified its reputation was the claim that if you dial it, you'll hear strange noises, sometimes static, sometimes a whisper, sometimes a long drawn-out groan, and exactly 1 week later, something bad will happen to you. The stories vary from accidents to unexplained illnesses to just plain bad luck. Some dismiss it as superstition, others refuse to take the chance. And if you're wondering whether anyone has actually tried it, people have, and many of them wish they didn't. From Japan, we moved to Nigeria, where a terrifying rumor swept through the country in the early 2000s. Emails, text messages, and warnings spread everywhere, telling people not to answer calls from certain red numbers. According to the stories, these calls appeared on the screen in bright red text, and if you answered, a high-frequency sound would blast through the speaker, causing injury, or in some versions, instant death. Some said the noise could cause hearing loss. Others mentioned brain hemorrhages. At the height of the panic, Nigeria's largest phone company publicly announced that no such deaths had occurred. But even with official statements calming people down, the legend refused to die. To this day, some locals still believe the red numbers exist and that the sound they emit is anything but natural. And then there's the bizarre story known across Asia where the haunting doesn't come from something supernatural, at least not directly, but from a strange male voice that answers a call and gives you a chilling instruction. If you dial a certain number, the moment it connects, the voice tells you that if you don't call a specific number of people and have them also call this line within a certain time frame, you will die. Yes, it's basically a chain letter, but in phone call form. Many believe the entire thing is powered by fear, not curses. But others point out that the numbers spread across multiple countries, crossing languages and generations in a way no prank usually does. Even in Western countries, people claim to have gotten random calls that match the description of this legend. Is it mass hysteria, a coordinated prank, or something stranger? No one knows. Next, we travel to a chilling case from the 1970s in the United Kingdom, a time when children hung out around telephone booths the way kids today hang out online. Kids would dial random numbers hoping for funny reactions or weird sounds, but then stories began circulating about a particular number you could call from inside public phone boxes. If you dialed it, a woman's voice would answer with a flat, emotionless tone repeatedly saying, help me, Sue is dying." Sometimes the voice would say, "Susie is drowning." Either way, the tone never changed. It was monotone, mechanical, haunting. People heard the message on loop until they hung up. Most of the people who reported this story were children at the time, so now, as adults, many cannot remember the exact digits. The most commonly mentioned possible number is 20, 20, 20. Whether it still functions, or whether it ever existed in the first place, is something that remains a mystery. But the legend persists, partly because the message was so strangely specific, and because it sounded more like a desperate recording than a prank. 1. In 2013, a new layer was added to the mythology of scary phone numbers with the release of a well-known horror movie. At the end of the film, a number flashed across the screen encouraging viewers to call Carrie. The idea was simple, a chilling promotional stunt to match the tone of the story. But what people didn't expect was what happened afterward. According to those who dialed the number, the call wouldn't connect at first, But moments later, their phones would ring, this time from a different number. When they answered, they would hear a voice delivering unsettling lines referencing sins, guilt, mothers, punishment, and prayers for forgiveness. Some calls even ended with frantic breathing, muffled crying, or a young girl's voice whispering something indecipherable. Not everyone experienced the same message. Some heard nothing but static, others heard fragments of sentences. Whether the number still works is unclear, but plenty of YouTubers have posted videos of themselves calling it, and most of them regret it. Now let's talk about a cursed phone number from Bulgaria, one so notorious that the phone company eventually shut it down completely. The origin of the curse began with the phone's first owner, a company CEO who died under suspicious circumstances from what many believe was radioactive poisoning. When the number was reassigned, its next owner, a mafia boss, was murdered in the street. The third owner, a businessman with ties to illegal activities, suffered the same fate, gunned down just like the one before him. After 3 deaths in a row, each linked to people who held the same string of digits, word spread that the number itself was cursed. In 2007, during a Nine Inch Nails concert, a fan found a flash drive in a bathroom. The drive contained a strange audio file, static-like, almost like insects chirping. When run through a spectrogram, instead of a sound pattern, the file revealed an eerie message, a phone number. Naturally, curious fans called it. Eventually, the phone company deactivated it entirely and made it impossible for anyone to ever use it again. Whether it was coincidence or something paranormal, we may never know. But the company wasn't willing to risk letting a 4th person try. What they heard was supposedly a wiretap-style recording of a terrified woman calling her mother, whispering that she was being watched, describing a man with a knife, and pleading for help before the call abruptly ended. Some believe it was a brilliant marketing strategy created by the band. Others think it might have contained a real recording disguised as an album promotion. The audio remains one of the most unsettling pieces of viral phone-related horror in modern music history. Another number connected to a chilling legend comes from Thailand. Locals say that if you dial an extended string of the number 9, you will be connected with a spirit capable of granting you a single wish. But there's a catch. The spirit will take your soul as payment. Different versions of the legend mention varying numbers of 9s, but the core belief remains the same. Some say the spirit sounds calm at first, offering something that seems innocent or harmless. But as you continue the call, the voice changes, growing colder, darker, distorted. Even though it's widely seen as an urban myth, the belief is strong enough that many people in Thailand refuse to dial any variation of the cursed 9s. There's also the infamous sequence of 6s, another number tied to countless stories online. People who claim to have called it report receiving mysterious texts afterward, strange voicemails filled with heavy breathing, and even messages describing things happening around them in real time. One person said they got a call back hours later, and when they picked up, someone whispered their name even though they hadn't said anything during the original call. Others say the number always calls back eventually, whether hours, days, or weeks later, and you never know what will be on the other end. Many think it's a massive prank, some think it's a scam, and others believe the stories are darker, that it's used by individuals with malicious intent. But the supernatural theories, those continue to spread. Finally, we arrive at one of the most famous creepy phone numbers of all time, one known as Booth World Industries. The story emerged online not long ago, centered on a number said to connect you to a woman named Samantha from a mysterious company. When you call, she asks you to schedule a remodeling. If you give her someone else's name, she hangs up, but later calls back, supposedly letting you hear that person screaming in the background. According to the legend, remodeling refers not to a house, but to a person. The phone number is said to be tied to a vast, secret organization capable of altering human lives, or ending them. Most people believe Booth World is an elaborate and creative piece of internet fiction, but the number does exist, and thousands have tried calling it. Some hear a scripted message. Others claim what they heard felt disturbingly real, and a few swear the number called them back days later, even after they blocked it. Whether these numbers are urban legends, marketing stunts, remnants of older technologies, or something stranger, one thing is certain. They've captured people's imaginations because they touch on something universal, the fear of the unknown. A phone is supposed to be a device that connects us, comforts us, helps us. But when it rings at night from a number you don't recognize, it becomes a doorway, one that could lead anywhere. If you enjoyed this journey into bizarre phone legends and eerie calls from the shadows, make sure to subscribe for more unexplained stories, frightening mysteries, and strange events from around the world. And whatever you do, don't go dialing any weird numbers tonight.